cover tonight, I have the slides prepared for you, the PowerPoints and all, but you might find me veering off and addressing some issues at depth, and some other issues you just read on the board, take picture. Because I like a little bit of balance between having a structure where you can follow, but at the same time allow me a little bit of leeway so that I can free flow. Okay? Free flowing is a little bit more engaging, a little bit more depth. Okay? Can we start? Seriously, this is your response? Yes. Hello. Okay, we're going to cover these grounds. First, actually, I write 4 things here, but critically, I'm going to cover it like this. There are 3 key parts, 3 main parts. 1, have clarity. I want to help you have clarity as to what the Buddha taught. Now, if you have read Dhamma books, if you have gone to many talks, you may be in a situation where you feel that there's just so many variations and so many parts and so many things, and gosh, how am I going to learn all these things? You might have that. What I hope to do tonight is to help you arrive at the key essentials. What exactly did the Buddha teach? The key points? Anything more? We can consider them extra, bonus, however you look at it. Extra, bonus, great to have more from the Buddha, why not? But the key points, it's like if you want to do mathematics, you better know numbers 1 to 10. You see what I'm saying? But if you don't know algebra, if you don't know, about proportions, fractions, never mind, you can survive. You can still go to market and buy things. But if you don't know 1 to 10, you're in trouble. So the same thing here for the Buddha, Dhamma, we want to know what are the key things we must know. If we don't know those things, you don't know Dhamma. Okay? The second thing we want to do is, or what I hope to do, is to help you understand. Dhamma is not intellectual knowledge, it's not concepts. Dhamma is a way of life. It is a transforming experience. Dhamma is actually his methodology to help us change the way we think and change the way we behave. Dhamma, in order to change the way you think, change the way you behave, you first have to understand what he taught, and you understand that clearly, you want to then change. So there is a method of doing that, and I'm going to help you understand what is that method. And then finally, the third part is, if you really start to operationalize the Dhamma, what happens? Something must happen, okay? Knowledge, practice, realization. That's essentially how we're going to approach this tonight. Therefore, long talk. Understand the purpose of the Buddha's Dhamma. I think the critical thing we need to know is why. Why was the Dhamma introduced in the first place? Why did the Buddha leave his family, and what did he go in search of? You may have your ideas, you may have heard it from different places. This is what I will say to you. Understand that the Buddha's Dhamma, the key purpose, is to fix a problem with the regular mind. Regular mind. Your mind, my mind, everyone else's. The regular mind has what I call mental issues. Then you say, I don't have mental problem. I didn't say you have mental problems. It's like saying I have cough and cold, you don't have cancer. Okay? Same way, your mind can have cough and cold. And depending on whether you manage the cough and cold properly or not, it can get worse. So all mental health issues start with cough and cold of the brain. Okay? we always talk about the First Noble Truth. The First Noble Truth was the Buddha explaining what is the reality of life experience. And one reality is this: dukkha is a given. Why is dukkha a given? This is in Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. See, sorry, dukkha is a given for these reasons. Number one, your milestones in life, all your milestones in life, birth, growing old, falling sick, dying. These milestone experiences are unavoidable, isn't it? I mean, can any of us not experience any of these milestones? Not possible. Yeah? But you know something? We don't think about them. The bulk of us, despite the fact that we are confronted with these milestones, we like not to think about them, because thinking about them is morbid, painful, poignant, pointless, because you can't do a thing about them, isn't it? So, if you were to stare, you see, you gotta understand this, Buddha was very practical, which is why he started with this point. Milestones in life are, in essence, by themselves, dukkha. Because he was very practical. And that is the reality that we are confronted with. Whether or not you like it, you've got to go through it. Even if you are not going through it, family, friends, loved ones, enemies, we don't care lah. It's a joke, seriously. But these things happen, okay? So when he said milestones, events, and everybody will go, okay lah, so you don't think about it. You don't think about it. You don't want to think about it. It's not the same as you don't think about it, okay? But the other type, the second type of a situation where you experience dukkha. Oh, sorry, I didn't really explain dukkha. Do you all know the meaning of this word dukkha? You call it suffering. No, you don't call it suffering? Dissatisfaction. How's that? Stress. Much better word. The word dukkha, I have said this before to other classes, it means a whole spectrum of negative, unpleasant experiences. Okay, it's just negative. It's not necessarily suffering. If you are feeling bored, dukkha. You are feeling myth, dukkha. Anything which is not so pleasant or pleasurable, dukkha. Okay? Now, so back to milestones. The second type of experiences, which are more common for the individual, is emotions, feelings, association. Being with something you don't like, or someone you don't like, being away from something or someone you like, the experience dukkha. Now this is far more common. If you look at your mind and you're aware of your mind, you will notice that at any one time, your mind has a preference. As long as your mind has a preference, it is in a state of dukkha. I didn't write it here. I'm going to explain a little bit more about something called the 3 types of dukkha. I hope I didn't write it further down. I don't think so. 3 types of dukkha. Have you heard of this expression, dukkha dukkhata, viparinama dukkhata, sankhara dukkhata? Have you heard of this expression? Okay. I want to explain this a little bit in depth. Dukkha dukkhata are the physical sensations, the immediate, not just physical, it's also mental sensations immediate. So let's say someone say, why you wear like that? Do you feel dukkha? Yes? Why you never answer me, when I ask question? Do you feel dukkha? Not really lah. But if your boss say you, if someone sitting next to you begin to smell, a bit dukkha, immediate sensation of unpleasantness and you react to it. Dukkha dukkhata. Viparinama dukkhata is change, dukkha in change, dukkha in instability. What does it mean? Let's say we all have a wonderful time in this talk. 9:30 already, must go home. Finish already. Talk over. I hope it's like that. Talk over. Regret. When is she ever coming back again? We could go for another talk. Wednesday, that's one. BF. The idea of change. If you enjoy something and then it is over, even before it is over, you are already feeling regret. Change. Okay? That is viparinama dukkhata. The third type is sankara dukkhata. And there are all kinds of explanation, but I will say it like this. Many a times, dukkha arises because you think too much. Sankara, construction, coming together. If you think about it, let me give you an example. Suppose, let's say, you feel pain here, okay? Or wherever, somewhere in your body there's pain. Dukkha, dukkhata, right? Then you start thinking, ayo, maybe tumor. I think it's tumor. And then you go around asking, is this tumor? Can you see that you actually don't know anything, but your mind has already constructed many things? Many a time, dukkha arises as a result of you, very clever, wrote a whole story about your pain. And it's more than that. Many a times in relationship, no problem, you can think until problem starts. Dukkha, yes? Can you now see Buddha was brilliant? This is only part one of brilliance. See it? He was explaining a regular mental state. And most of us have no problem, actually, even without trying, sitting down there doing nothing, you're feeling a lot of dukkha. Because you think. You construct. See that? Habits of the mind. So, I can move on. Now, to tell you are experiencing dukkha, you will say, I know already. That's why I'm here. No big deal, right? He explained why you experience. Seriously, I just give you everything. Okay. When I have to go back and scroll, it's actually disturbing for me. I'll give you everything and talk normally. You see, the reason why we experience dukkha is because you have preferences. In every moment of every experience, the moment you register the experience, your mind has preferences. So that's one problem. The second problem is the mind, these preferences. Why do we have preferences? It is because you have desires. Desires is because you experience pleasure and pain. We all want pleasure. We all don't want pain. There are two issues here. One is the feeling, pleasure, pain, neither pleasure nor pain. Those are feelings. The second thing is these feelings that come naturally, spontaneously, but you want one, you don't want the other. It's because of that choice, the one thing to choose, pleasure, not pain. We choose, and because we choose, that's where the dukkha arises. Okay? And this is very instinctive. Buddha talks about dukkha coming from three areas, right? Have you all heard of this? Karma Tangha, Bhava Tangha, Vibhava Tangha. Have you heard of this? And you all must just say something, because if you nod your head, I cataract, I can't see. Alright? Okay. Let me explain Bhava Tangha, Vibhava Tangha, and Karma Tangha. There's the traditional way of explaining it, but let me help you understand it and make it relevant immediately. You are familiar with your thinking process, right? I assume you are. Are you aware that there are two worlds? Loka, two worlds. There is the external world, the external environment, which you register through your eyes, ear, nose, touch, tongue, smell, and so on, right? But that's the external environment. Having experienced the external environment, there is the internal environment, the internal world, making sense of what's going on out there, and then having its own conversation. And sometimes when it's not engaging out there, it is talking in there. Yes? I'm describing you, right? Because if I'm not describing you, you have a bigger problem. This is the normal mind has the external world and the internal world. Karma Tangha refers to the external world. You have preferences, what you want to see, what you want to taste, what you want to hear. This music, I like, that one, I don't. What's jazz? Really, I don't like jazz, or something like that. When you have preferences and greed about the external world, that's Karma Tangha. Bhava, Vibhava Tangha has to do with what's in there. Like when you recall pleasurable experience and you say, let's replay, and then you replay. Okay, that's one version of what's happening in there. The second version is about yourself. I hope the world sees me as bright, brilliant, and nice, and I don't know what else. What else do people think about? Smart. Smart is bright and brilliant. Pretty, tasteful, that sort of thing. I hope they don't say that I'm bad taste and nerdy and lao tu and don't know what. You have a mind-made idea of yourself, and you hope the world shares your high opinion about yourself. But you know what? That's deluded thinking, because the whole world is caught up in themselves. They are living in their world. There are 50 of you? Maybe 100, I don't know how many of you. But there are that many worlds in here. We have an entire galaxy in here. You see that? So, Buddha said the reason why the regular human experience dukkha is because they have these preferences with regards what's out there and with regards what's in here. Make sense? Up until this point, no problem, right? The regular person, in the way that they fix dukkha, I told you dukkha is prevalent. The regular person, in the way that they fix dukkha, is to go and satisfy that preference. So if I want music, this music, I go buy radio, buy speaker, and then get Spotify, and then choose the music and so on and so forth. The regular person has quick fixes for all his craving, all his preferences. And he spends his time fixing. He's like a crazy mechanic with a car, huge mechanical problem, and he spends his entire day trying to fix the problems of this sputtering car. That's a regular person. And he does it because from very young, he grew up with this understanding that every time he fixes something the way he wants it, he feels good. Every time he fixes something the way he wants it, he feels good, right? This is a delusion. This constant need to fix is what gave him the dukkha in the first place. The wanting to fix. That's why I use the word temporary gratification and proxy delights. These two words, my invention. You must attribute. Proxy delights, meaning you are looking for temporary gratification which gives you a temporary high. Done! I go shopping, buy something I want, happy. But then it lasts for 15 minutes. Never mind, tomorrow go buy some more. Go back, buy. Happy. Another 15 minutes, then never mind, tomorrow I go again. You see the problem? We are drug addict. We are drug addict, always looking for the temporary high. So if you don't know Dhamma, I'm describing the regular life. But of course, you all know Dhamma. So this is not necessarily your life, right? Yeah? Dukkha is always present because of habits and instinct. The way that we tackle dukkha is to give it quick fix. This is very critical. The Third Noble Truth says that, again, I'm just going to give you everything. The Third Noble Truth says that it need not be like that. There is a mental state where you don't experience dukkha. Cessation of dukkha. It is possible for the mind to be in a state where it doesn't experience dukkha. Meaning, it is possible for the mind to stop craving. The challenge is how do you teach the mind to tame craving? Get it? That is why in the suttas, you will constantly come across these words. He will say, the untrained worldling. Have you heard of this expression? The untrained worldling. Untrained because you never knew the nature of the mind and how do you curb habits and instincts for craving? How do you stop that? You never train yourself to stop, you won't stop. Or he will say, the man who is not tame. It doesn't mean you're a wild beast that needs, like the whip, tame you. It's not. Your mind is always chasing, looking for the next acquisition. And because it's always looking for an next acquisition, you have dukkha. Okay? I put down at the bottom there, how do you train the mind to that state where it doesn't have a rising of craving? Okay? This is part A. This is how fast I'm going. Second point. The regular mind can neither see, understand, nor experience Nibbana. The regular mind can neither see, understand, nor experience Nibbana. We have to develop conditions to help the mind rise above its current distracted, foggy, delusional state. In this practice is about developing new habits. There are a couple of things to do. The main thing, actually, is to develop the correct mental conditions. With the correct mental conditions, any mind, yours, mine, everyone else, no age limit. With the correct mental conditions, any mind can experience, see, understand, and experience the Dhamma. I didn't use the word Nibbana yet. I'll repeat, with the correct mental conditions in place. These are mental states that you have to train to develop. You develop these mental states in place, any mind can understand, see, understand, realize the Dhamma. And when those conditions have been developed, any mind can see how the mind works. The essential point about the Dhamma is understanding how your mind works. Only when you understand how the mind works are you able to tame craving. Taming craving is not about saying, I don't want. If you say, I don't want, I don't want, I don't want, the mind is saying, I want not to want. I want not to want. So now you are struggling with two wants, not one want. One want is about the book. The second one is, I should not want the book. I want, I don't want, I want, I don't want, I want. Can you see why practicing Dhamma wrongly can be more painful? You are dealing with double whammy wants. In the previous, I earlier talked about Tangha, remember? Bawa Tangha, we Bawa Tangha. This is actually what it means. I want is Bawa Tangha. I don't want is we Bawa Tangha. Same. You want, you don't want is two sides of the same coin. So, this is, have you all heard of the Buddha saying that this path is a gradual path? Like the seashore, seabed, like the seabed, it slopes gently and leans towards. Have you heard of this expression? Because what you are doing is first understand how the mind works, and then you're going to restructure. You're going to use the Dhamma, understand the Dhamma. With the help of the Dhamma, you learn to restructure, reprogram your mind. Okay? So what are these 5 conditions? Saddha, Sila, Sati, Samadhi, Panya. I didn't invent this. In many suttas, you would have heard of the following, the 37 factors of enlightenment. Yes? You heard of the Eightfold Path, you have heard of the 7 Bhujangas, 7 factors of enlightenment, you have heard of 4 foundations of mindfulness, 5 indriyas, etc., 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 right? You've heard of these. Many times he repeated this. Essentially, you can distill from all these suttas and conclude the Buddha pointed out 5 key essential mental states. In fact, there are suttas where he specifically said, if you have these 5 mental conditions, one day you will see, one day you will realize. Let me explain again. Perhaps I'm going a bit fast. You remember what I said about what the Dhamma is? And it's about fixing the mind. And then I said, in order to fix the mind, you have to understand how the mind works. Okay? In order to understand how the mind works, you can't just jump in and say, ta-da, I understand how the mind works. It doesn't work like that. You've got to put in place the mental conditions, and then you begin to see how the mind works. Without these 5 mental conditions as regular tenant in your brain, they must be regular tenant. They cannot appear only when you go for retreat. If they appear, in fact, if they don't all appear, you only have like 3/5 when they appear in the retreat. Also tak jalan. It won't work. You need 5. 没有讨价还价. Cannot come and bargain with Buddha. 4 cannot. Next life I do the 5th one. What? You think what? Tai pai dong ah? Cannot. You just got to remember this. 5 mental states, you have to develop them simultaneously. In fact, 37 are actually the 5 repeated in different points. Develop them, until they are regular tenant in your brain, in your mind. And then the Dhamma becomes more evident. Now do you understand why you study and study and study and study and study, and still you say to yourself, I'm not sure if I really understand the Dhamma, because you may not have developed these 5 mental states, you see? Okay? The whole intention of the practice is to reprogram lifetime of habits and instincts. In other words, imagine your brain to be like the operating system. Kena hit by life's viruses. There are lots and lots of viruses. Trojan horse, and I'm not sure what's the latest. I only know Trojan horse. Okay? So you need to purge the system, start again. And this 5 of them are going to help you do it. Okay? Now I'm going to explain the 5. We'll talk about faith first. In case you want to know in details, please refer to my book on Saddha. It's available online. Occasionally must advertisement. I use the word caveat, Saddha, faith. Caveat, you see, you listen to me talking ad nauseum about dukkha, cessation of dukkha, and the practice, right? You hear me talking about this. And in you, somewhere in you, there is this sense of, I think she's right, huh? If not, I've wasted half an hour here. I hope she's right, huh? So I sound logical, I sound persuasive enough, then you, okay, maybe you're right. That's all. I make sense. I look innocent enough, so you persuade yourself to be convinced that she has a point. So you are buying on some kind of faith, huh? It is faith of sort, because you have not seen the Dhamma. It's faith of sort. You only have my word for it. But that faith is not strong. It is still better than this one Buddha, you pai. Just pai. That's blind faith. You just go and, Buddha, this one I must pai. Is it? Yeah, just pai. You just do whatever. I bow, you bow. I put my hand like this, you put your hand like this. You know what I'm saying? That's blind faith. After you listen and have some idea of the Dhamma, you have some faith. Caveat. Because fundamentally, you haven't seen how the Dhamma works. You have not seen for yourself what really the brain, the mind is like. The mind, he described, what is that like? You may not have seen it. How the methods, if you apply them, will help you to see the mind you have not applied, you have never seen. So, can't tell. This is what I mean by no experiential knowledge. You have to see the mind, see how it works, see the Dhamma changing the way you behave, and then you believe. Okay? But this is good enough. Having some degree of faith is good enough because of these functions that you need faith to do. Keeps your mind open. If your mind is not open, you can't hear a word I'm saying. Here I talk, there you talk. You see what I'm saying? Here I'm making all these beautiful points, but your mind is busy shooting them down one by one. Nothing gets in, okay? And I deliberately wrote this. You can hear, you can learn, you can remember, you can internalize, practice, and grow. These are written deliberately. This is your learning process. And it is written in the text as follows. The Buddha said, in detail, he said, you come, you sit, you hear, you lend your ear, you hear, you absorb, you remember. Because you can practice only up to what you can remember. If you can't practice what your mind has dropped off. So remembering is important. Once you remember, you must reflect. Take what is said, compare it with your own experience, compare. See for yourself. If you compare and say, makes sense, true, accurate, it will go deeper into your memory bank. Practice is when you start comparing, applying. It goes deeper into your memory bank, you will grow from there. Okay? Second purpose of Saddha is, once you get to a point when you start applying his doctrine, you start to see the effects of the doctrine. Doctrine has effects, one. The learning has implications for you. It's like learning mathematics, then you can go market and argue prices. Otherwise, learn mathematics for what? Huh? Get a good deal. Something like that, okay? Dhamma is the same. Once you start practicing, what's the effect of the Dhamma? You feel happier. If you are a Buddhist, but you're not kinder, nicer, wiser, happier, you've wasted your time. I'm serious. I mean every word. If you say you are a Buddhist, but you're not a happier person, you're not a nicer, kinder, wiser person, you are Buddhist by your definition as you write in your birth cert. That's it. Or IC or whatever. But you're not. You go Buddha and says, Buddha, I'm your disciple. Buddha said, don't say. Don't anyhow say. Okay? I mean every word. When you get the first sense that the Dhamma is on track, when you get that first sense, you will practice even more diligently. So like trial run, a bit trial run, then, wow, I am so much better. Do more. Like that. Test the medicine work, drink more. But don't overdose. And with every new understanding and insight, faith grows, okay? The perfect Saddha is the Saddha of the Arya. That is why the Buddhists say, when you enter the stream, your Saddha is absolute. Absolute confidence. Entering the stream means you really understand the Dhamma. That is why, as one of the fetters, it says, no more vichikicha, no more doubt, no more perplexity. Okay? I don't want to go too much into that because no time. This is slide, don't know how many of 24. Sila, morality. I'm just going to... The whole purpose of Sila, now earlier on I used the word Virya. Did I use the word Virya or Sila? I used the word Sila. Okay. I used the word Sila. The idea is similar but not identical. Sila is really about stopping the akusala, the unwholesome habits, any habits that reinforce craving and delusion, any habits, meaning, temporary gratification, never mind, let's go temporary gratification more. That's a delusion. Any habits that feed craving and delusion, they are akusala. So it can be as serious as killing, stealing, and lying, that sort of things. Or it can be relatively mild ones, not obviously negative, like agitation, worry, fear, and so on and so forth. When you worry, you will look for something to fix a problem. When you have fear, you will look for something to fix the problem. It's a form of wanting, craving. So any mental states that feed craving and delusion, they are called akusala, unwholesome or unskillful. Okay? Then the kusala ones are the mental states that strengthen your ability to let be, to let go, to calm down, to be more stable, less agitated. Anyone. For instance, I'll give you an example. Something not so obvious like giving, dana, chaga. When you are in a state of giving, in the state of dana, true dana, not the dana for other people to see type. The real dana, when you're very generous and you really want to give, that dana. When you have that dana, your mind is not chasing and clinging, right? The mind is a state of giving. If your mind is not in a state of giving, when you're doing dana, that is for people to see one. There's not a lot happening in the mind that will protect, that will help you grow. Patience, being patient, being metta, all these mental energies calm you down. Okay? Too fast. Oh, I better stop a little bit for you to digest and catch up. You need a bit of catching up? Too much ideas running? Can I move on? Okay. Purify mind is to wipe the mind, your mind space clean so that you can rise above ego and craving. Okay? Now, tonight talk, I pitch it to a higher level. For some of you, you will struggle to understand. I understand that. That's why we tape it. Give you a chance to go back and review. Then you review what you like, okay? Give you a chance. No, I'm serious. Today, it may fly past you. But if you have a chance to look at it again, some more ideas and some more insights can arise for you. Okay? Not done yet. Sila is very critical for happiness in this life and for spiritual progress. I put this thing there to remind me, not to remind you. It's to remind me to say this. Let me tell you this. We know of schools that teaches Dhamma. And we know of centers for people to go and meditate full-time. Yes? We have never heard of a school that teaches Sila. Yes? And the reason is because everyone assumes that Sila, everybody quite Sila ma. Can like that can. No. I can tell you, for those of you who try to meditate and you find it very difficult to get your mind to sit still, what it means is you're not Sila enough. Buddha made it very clear in a conversation between Ananda and the Buddha. Ananda asked the Buddha, what's the purpose of Sila? And the Buddha said, so that you are free from remorse. In other words, your conscience is clear, you are calm. And then, why do we need conscience to be clear? So that you experience piti, pasadi. Basically, you need the conscience to be clear so that you have some degree of joy and then you feel peaceful. Why do we need that? You need that. You need that because your mind, in order to be able to concentrate, in order for the mind to be able to concentrate, the mind must experience joy and calm. Okay? Why do you need samadhi, concentration? So that the mind can see reality as it is. So that the mind can experience Yatha Buddha Jnana Dasana. Whatever it is, there's knowledge and insight. What starts, there's some more to go, you don't need the rest. I will just say this. If you say, I have difficulty focusing and keeping the mind on a single object, single object, meditate, it really means the mind is not kusala enough. It does not have enough joy. It does not have enough peace. So, for people who say we meditate to be calm, I will say they don't really know what meditation is. You actually set off being calm first, and then the rest follows. Of course, you can use Panadol for small ills, small pain. But when it comes to the excruciating pain, Panadol won't work. So we use meditation for the deep insight. That one, you need to be able to get the mind very quiet. Otherwise, you are having a masak-masak type of meditation. Okay, not the Buddha style. I didn't elaborate a lot on sila and what you must do. For detail, Wednesday BF. You know, periodically you must put in advertisement. Purpose of sati and samadhi. Sati is mindfulness. Samadhi is concentration. I put them together. This is not a talk to explain meditation. I just put them together. They come together. There is no debate about this. In the suttas, when the Buddha explained the jhanas, he talks about mindfulness. So there's no debate about this. The two mental states come together, quieten down the mind. Okay? Why do we want to keep this mind quiet, quieter? If it is too noisy, if it's regular mind, it talks too much. You can't see the mind, how it works. It has to talk less, much less. Sati keeps the mind focusing on what's happening right now. What's happening right now? Sati knows when the mind is focused. Sati keeps you objective, clear, sharp. You're able to gather detail, factual data about mind's features, and remember them. Let me just rephrase it simpler. Essentially, objective, present, focus, and you observe, you must remember. You observe, you must remember. Okay? You understand or not? You understand this, huh? This is a very, it's not, when you can get to this state, this is where the mind is not judgmental. The typical mind is judgmental. You get it to this state, it learns to just observe objectively. Okay? And it must be able to gather detail, factual data. Factual. Rising, falling. Breathing in, breathing out. Factual. Breathing in, got colors, not factual. Okay? Breathing has no colors. Samadhi, calm, peaceful, sustained focus. Put these two mental states together, the mind is still, it does not have many words, no thoughts. It's aware. Well, you can have the occasional stray one thought, but you know it's arising, and you don't follow, it drops. That's all, okay? Getting the mind to that state so that it can do these things. When the mind is still and quiet enough, it is possible for you to pick up features about the mind. In order to understand those features requires panya. Still and quiet, sati samadhi. But if you don't have panya, still and quiet, after a while, sleep. Scenario 1. Scenario 2 is sati, sati samadhi, you only have that, no panya. Scenario 2, what I do, out of it already, you lost. Or scenario 3 is just go very still, and that's it. Still, okay? Panya, this mental state, helps you to be able to correlate what you are observing with your mind eyes. You're observing. Correlate what you're observing to what you have learned about Dhamma. Buddha explains in the Dhamma, he explains features of the mind. Okay? So the Dhamma actually has different parts. The Dhamma talks about what the mind is like. The Dhamma talks about how to practice. The Dhamma explains what's the end result. It is an instruction manual that covers the entire spectrum about the mind and how to tame it. And then what happens, like an epilogue. Epilogue, what happens when you have tamed the mind. Okay? The Dhamma explains all these things. Panya enable you to correlate what you have learned about the Dhamma with your experiences, what you're observing. So first, in observing, the panya helps you to gather facts. Keeps it quiet enough that quickly see carefully. Huh? Panya helps you to decide what to do. As you're observing at the mind, looking at the mind, there are certain decisions to make. Panya makes sure you make the right decision. No panya decision wrong. No panya seeing wrong. No panya everything wrong. And this is a cute one. Panya will also enable you to know when you're making progress. You have panya, you know, you don't need the exam to say, now you're primary 2. Panya tells you, I'm now primary 2. I'm primary 3. I'm primary 4. Sudahlah, I'm PhD. Something like that, huh? So, if you find that you have to go to the teacher and get affirmation about your insight, you know the panya is not mature enough. If you need affirmation, means you're not confident. If you're not confident, what does it say? You definitely have not broken the first fetter. One of the first 3 fetters. Absolute confidence, delusion about the self, the essence, and not caught up with rites and rituals in the belief that the rites and rituals will cleanse your mind. If you need affirmation to explain to you where you are, how you are doing, are you on track, it means your understanding of the Dhamma is incomplete. Not enough. That's why you need affirmation. Okay? So, the 3 parts, know what you're seeing, know what you're doing, know when you're done. You're done doesn't mean you're arahan. I'm not talking about that done. I'm saying that at the end of per session of observation, you know you have gathered and understood the Dhamma up to that point. Great. Sadhu. Next exercise. Okay? I'm not talking about arahan. Oh, yes, I'm done. I've entered the stream. Cool water. I'm not talking about that, okay? I'm saying that when you understand well enough, I ask you, will you come and join me to help share the Dhamma? You will say, I think I can. I'm happy to do it. That's when you know enough Dhamma. If I were to ask you, will you come and join me in sharing the Dhamma? And you say, you think I can or not? I think no. Probably not. Because I just asked you if you can, and you tell me, you think I can? You think I can? Means you need affirmation. Sorry, affirmation. I don't give affirmation. Fourth noble truths. You're wondering how come I never talk about the fourth one, first, second, third. Because the fourth one is about what you must do. The first three was about the essence, the Dhamma teaching. What is the reality that we are all struggling with? What is my Dhamma supposed to help you do, help you achieve? Then, in order for your mind to be able to understand the Buddha's teaching, understand the Dhamma, understand what must be done, you have to set in place certain conditions. And these 8 steps are really to help you develop those mental conditions. Okay? Right view. Correct understanding of the Dhamma. If you have the correct understanding of the Dhamma, meaning there is dukkha. Dukkha is the result of my craving, instincts, and habits. But there is a way for all these craving to cease. There is a way. Okay? If that's where you are coming from, you understand this, then right thought. Right thought follows from right view. Why is that? Because if you say you understand 1, 2, 3 noble truth, then the first thing you must do as a matter of directing your daily life, your thoughts, is let go, renounce. Don't hold too tightly. That's why the first of the 3 right thoughts, nekkhamma, renunciation, aveyapada, avihimsa, no ill will, no cruelty. Very, very specific to, if you understand the Dhamma, you may say only conceptual, it's okay. If this is your start point, my conceptual understanding is like this, then the second part is, in your daily life, make sure that the way you think, it is not about me, I, mine, my interests, my feelings, my entitlements. Renunciation, don't look at it as too big a word. For many of us, we see, mang. No. When you are saying, my feelings, that is a point where if you have renunciation stemming from right view, right understanding, that is where you go, Suda, it's okay. Feeling comes and go anyway. See what I'm saying? My views, my affection. Your affection, very expensive. Comes with a heavy price. You must tell yourself, it's okay. Everything comes and goes. I will ride the waves. I mean it. In daily life, make it almost second nature and make it almost instinctive. Not to hold on to my views, my thoughts, my job, my interests, my feelings. Have you not considered my feelings? Big word, fierce word. Or whatever else that people think about, my entitlement, my space. Hey, you just took my parking spot. Then fight. Then entertainment tonight, YouTube. We learn to say it's okay. We consciously say it's okay. You remember the noble truth, you will say it's okay. Okay? When you are unable Because I always say these three are together. They are not separate ones. If it's only when you are unable to let go, it's only when you are not saying it's okay, and you are saying, no, it's not okay, that is when your anger comes up. The moment you say it's okay, the anger will recede. And no one is cruel unless they are angry. If you are cruel, whether or not you are angry, you are not normal. Okay? The regular, because I talk about the regular person. The regular person is not cruel unless he has anger. That is why right thought comes in three. Not one at a time. You just think about it. Every time you say it's okay, it's okay. Don't worry about that, don't worry about that. No anger, right? Such kindness. Okay? Right speech, right action, right livelihood. Let me show you how it links. What you think, first thing comes out as words. That's why speech comes first. What you think, you say before you act. Very often, if you act without thinking or saying, it's very spontaneous. That's different. But this is in the certain flow of things, in the regular order of things. You think, then you say, then you act. Sometimes you think, skip one step, you act already. Possible, you fast worker. But generally, you'll say, even if you say to yourself, should I do this? Should I do that? Then you act, same thing. You didn't say it to another person, you say it to yourself. So, right speech, right action. I want to go into detail. For details on morality, read my current book. It's on morality. Right livelihood. I want to stress, this one I'll just take a bit of time to explain. Right livelihood is not abstaining from 5 traits only. Okay? The Buddha actually never specifically say, oh, by the way, right livelihood is about the 5 traits. Don't engage in the 5 traits. He never said that. It's different sutta. He merely say, right livelihood is not wrong livelihood. Actually, it's very simple. You link it back to nekkhamma. Any livelihood which sits on greed, which acts on anger, they are not good. Which involves cruelty, they are not good. They are wrong livelihood. Basically, any livelihood that causes suffering and pain to another for profit, you are in trouble. That's all. Okay? So don't say, hey, I'm not doing any of the 5 traits, I only tai long, no? Buddha's time got tai long or not? You see what I'm saying? So it's not a loba dosa, or if you don't know any better, just refer to point 2. Nekkhamma, aveyapada, avihimsa. So any livelihood that acts on greed and anger and cruelty, you should decease. Let go. Okay? Right effort. This is to the point where you become very aware of arisings in your mind. But if you're not so aware, if you notice that the mental state is unwholesome, your job is to drop it. So, mental states which are unwholesome already there, drop it. If they are not there, don't let it come up. Bring up kusala, the wholesome thoughts, and proliferate. If it's not there, bring it up, and then you proliferate wholesome thoughts. Basically, if I were to sum up this particular line of practice, I will say, keep your mind wholesome. Now, the lovely thing about wholesome mental energy is all you need is one wholesome mental energy. And you can really experience the joy of living. If you say, oh, there's nothing very nice about my life, I've got to work very hard, and nobody appreciates me, and you say all these things, your mind has become very painful. Not your life painful, your mind is painful. And because your mind is painful, everything that this mind comes into contact with, it's painful. How do you fix this mind? You can't fix what's out there. You can fix at best what's in here. You can't change the way another person talk, but you can change the way you perceive that person. You explain, you talk to yourself about that person, and your reaction to the person. That you can do. But what that person is, how those conditions are, they are not within your control. So for people who derive pleasure from perfect external conditions, I'm sorry to say, you will be living in a world of pain. A lot of pain. Relentless dukkha. And going into a retreat to practice may not solve your problem unless you know how to transform number one. If you don't transform number one, nothing is going to be able to help other than Prozac. Prozac, right? Yeah, Prozac, which I don't recommend. I recommend Dhamma. Okay? Mindfulness concentration, you know, it's in this order, by the way. The practice comes in this order. With understanding, do what's necessary, hold the kusala line, your mind will be quiet. These are the three parts which I will elaborate further. Okay? There you are. Should have just brought everything out. Okay? Okay? Moving on. Third. Earlier on, we spoke about being able to see the mind. Understand how the mind works. Here, I'm going to explain what the Buddha said about the nature of the mind. And these are the things, these are the features, the characteristics that you should pay attention to when you are meditating. When doing a meditation, in your regular life, these are the features that a quiet mind with those 5 mental states, you will be able to observe these features. Okay? Read, I'm not repeating. Read some more. Okay, let me just explain this first. The mind's true nature. We can see anything. We can describe in many ways. But there are certain constants, and we are interested only in those objective constants. Number 1, every mental state that you experience, every feeling, every memory, every thought, every experience of the form, everyone takes a temporary part of your mind. It comes on and then it fades away. Yes? Wow, basic also. Let me think. Let me think. 3 words. Already time has passed. See that? In fact, a very good friend of mine, I recall, someone was telling me, talk about how each breath, each breathing in and each breathing out, it's a new breath. She always say, impermanence in the breath. You meditate for how long? Got this insight, you know? Like that lah. It's an insight. One day it dawns on you that now too late already lah. I tell you, she said like that. But every moment that passes is a new moment and another has ceased. So, you will say, very insightful meh? Wait, next one. In that which is impermanent. This is how the Buddha taught. Huh? In Anatta Lakkhana Sutta, this is what he said. Your 5 aggregates, feeling, I didn't talk about the 5 aggregates today, but basically your mind and body, your mental states, each one is impermanent and conditioned. What does it mean? Impermanent, you know. Condition means nothing starts from nothing one. Something has to start from something. So a sound, a thought, feeling, a sound, some stirring, and then a thought. And then more thoughts, and then more thoughts. And then, I'm not supposed to be thinking so much. I'm supposed to be listening to Dhamma talk. Something like that. So whatever experience that you have, it sits on a previous experience. And it goes back. And then it goes forward. That's how the mind works. And in that which is impermanent, is it dukkha or is it sukha? Dukkha. Which is why when man was able to design his faith, his religion, all religions through the centuries, through time and space, they all have a perfect heaven. Whether you talk about the Vikings and their great banquet hall, or the Egyptians with their golden cornfield or something, or everything else that you know of, everyone has perfection after death. Because before death, you can see for yourself, it must end. And if it ends, then it is painful. So, how do we make sure that life has meaning? It's not painful. Don't let it end. And perfect. And if you're evil, you go to hell forever. That's the human thirst for revenge. Okay? In that which is impermanent is dukkha. This is a fact. This is not an opinion. This is not subjective. This is a fact. Knowing that you will die, knowing that whatever you experience will be over, no matter how you like it, it will be over. But the good thing, the flip side, the great thing is, however painful it will end, however horrible the experience, it will be over. So therefore, one should be, if one is objective enough, take it in stride. Whatever arises will cease, will fade away. Whatever comes will go. In that which is dukkha, don't own it. There are 2 ways of looking at this, but I will just explain this. There is a subjective way, and there is the objective way of understanding this concept of anatta. What is subjective? You see, in every experience that we have, we take the experience to be mine. The Buddha's advice to you is, don't own it. Don't say, this is mine, my feeling, my thoughts, my friends, my loved ones, and so on and so forth. What he said was, don't own it. That is the subjective part of things. The objective one. He said, you have a mental ecosystem. He didn't use the word ecosystem, but you know what I mean. There is a whole series of activities going on in your brain, which you have no control over. If you have control over those mental neurological activities, my question to you is, why then do you cry? You enjoy it? Why then do you get angry? You like it? You don't. There are a whole series of activities that you don't want to have to be there, but they are there. And there will be the whole series of activities you wish they are there, and they won't be. For instance, I want to be happy, but I'm not. I really want to be happy, but I'm not. Can you stop growling? It won't listen to me. You see what I'm saying? Your entire ecosystem, mind and body, function on their own without intervention from you. You are at best, you are the company CEO who doesn't know what's going on down the line. But you think you are boss. See what I'm saying? It is the best. Yours is a multi-international, MNC, multinational, right? Multinational corporation. All of us are superpower MNCs. And you are titular chairman. Not CEO, CEO got some say in the operations. You are chairman, like my sister would say, chairman. You don't know what's going on. I mean, seriously, how many of you would say you have counted how many times your heart beat? Ask you count breath to 10, already stop. You see what I'm saying? Those are physical activities, and you have problems struggling to catch up. Let alone the mental activities. You have no clue. See what I'm saying? So, Buddha said, in the experience of dukkha, which is a given, right? Because your mental states, your physical forms, they're all impermanent. And then in all these, you will experience dukkha. And he said, in that experience, don't own it. That's why he taught his monks to say, not mine, no I, not self. Let's not go into the debate of God or don't have. That's not the point. The point is the training. Number one. Number two, if you train yourself properly, as prescribed by the Buddha, you will start to realize that there's a milieu, there's a whole range of things going on, and you honestly have no control. There is nothing there to forcibly control these activities, mind or body. Okay? Well, they're all here. I talk so much. See for yourself. Nature is hard to miss. 5 aggregates of cross. I knew I wrote 5 aggregates somewhere. It's the next slide, 5 aggregates: form, feeling, perception, thought construction, consciousness. I said all these already. Okay? I will give you 1 minute to read. Done. Any question up to here? I can move on? Okay. When the mind recognizes these 3 characteristics, the first one is the easiest. Impermanence, right? I said already, that's the easiest. It's obvious, hard to miss. When the mind sees these 3 characteristics, and that was what the Buddha had always been saying, at the point when you experience it, whether in meditation or in daily life, when you experience it, that is an awakening moment. Awaken in what sense? It is awakened to the fact that for the longest time, you have been going on and on about being in charge. When you feel that you are in charge of your world, that everything sits on your decisions and responsibilities. When you feel that way, at some point, it feels very tiring to hold up this world. That is why it is said that for the ones who have realized the Dhamma, every deeper level of realization, they feel lightness and they feel liberated. Let me explain this a little bit further. In your mind, you have a perception of how the world should see you. Yes? You like to be known to have certain types of qualities, and you hide away the ones that you may be ashamed of, and you hope no one notices. Sweep it under the carpet. Yes? If yours too many to hide, they will spill out of the carpet. The world will know. But you spend your entire life trying to uphold an image of I. In trying to uphold this image of I, you're doing it very subconsciously. It's not, I have an image, today I shall dress it in blue. It matches the color, it matches the mood, and da. It's not, it's very subconscious. Your entire world constructed, and you must fit into this world, and you are like this, and everybody is looking at you. So important are you. Having to do that is tiring. The day you realize mental states come and go, feelings come and go, thoughts come and go, everything comes and go, in essence, there is no I, no real I. There are conditions that there are risings, and there's after arising ceasing. And it goes on and on and on. And then you let go of this habit to construct the I, to keep maintaining the delusionary I. When you let go of that habit, it's when you really understand what he said about anicca, dukkha, anatta. Okay? So, a lot of you, at this point, I'm seeing like, never mind, read. Just read. This is how it flows. You see the way the mind works. When you see the nature of the mind, you begin to understand what he taught about conventional reality and ultimate reality. That's another word that people like to use, right? Conventional reality, ultimate reality. Conventional reality is the world that we have constructed. My world, your world, the inside one, not the outside. The outside world it's just there. But the outside world has no meaning for you until you have internalized the outside world. For instance, do you know who is sitting behind you? You don't. You know who is sitting in front of you, but you may not know who is sitting behind you. But there is a world at the back. But you're only aware of the world in front. Because the world in front, you can see. The world at the back, you can't see. Unless you got 7 eye. Because the 6 is here, right? You can't see. You see what I'm saying? Reality, as far as you are concerned, is only what you have internalized. And all these internalizing is just a temporary thing. Everyone keeps constructing. Not knowing that, not realizing that, is delusion. And delusion is many forms. I can have a whole lecture on delusion. Okay? Now, you can be enlightened, you can wake up to the reality, but it's only temporary because you will go back to your old habits. What is the old habits? Old habits is when you go back and you start again, craving, fixing, temporary fixing, meeting your demands, and you go on. Okay? If your seeing and understanding of the mind's nature is penetrative enough, you will enter the stream. You ask me what is entering the stream is when Yatha Buddha Jnana Dasana is deep enough, it causes your entire worldview to shift. Your worldview, your understanding of reality shifts. How come I don't understand? Because you answer your own question. Okay, I'm just going to no need to talk too much, you just read. Sakkaya Ditthi, the belief that there is an I essence, you call a soul. You no longer believe that there is an I essence. This one only you know. What the Chinese says, 天知地知. What else? 天知. Okay, I need to go back and polish this up. Otherwise cannot use. 你知我知 yeah. Okay. Yeah, Only you know if you still believe that you are real. Okay? If you don't believe in that anymore, then you have dropped the fetter of Sakkaya Ditthi. And whether or not you are sure about the practice and the path depends on how deep your understanding of the Dhamma is. And this is what it means, seeing for yourself how the mind works, how the mind keeps changing, how it feels peace when it does not chase and want. First, second, third, noble truths, plus fourth. You are sure about the path is the fourth. Seeing for yourself how it works, how it keeps changing, how it feels peace, it does not chase. When it doesn't chase. And number three, you know now that it is about cleansing the mind and not following a set pattern or formula for external purification. Okay? You get to that level, your conviction that the Buddha was right, because all these he explained, everything that I've said tonight, they are found in the suttas everywhere, in the discourses. If you understand all that I've said, then you know for yourself, Buddha was right. The Dhamma is true and it works. And Sangha are practitioners who have seen the mind, understood the Dhamma, and tasted mental relief from dukkha. This is when your faith becomes unshakable. Buddha is right. Have you heard of the expression, when you see Dhamma, you see the Buddha? Yes. This is actually what it means. If you understand how the mind works, as you apply his teaching, his formula to train your mind and reshape the mind, and then you taste the mental relief from no longer craving so much. When that happens, you know Buddha was right. This indeed is the nature of the mind. This indeed is how you tame it, calm it down. And this indeed is possible for the mind to feel at peace. Okay? So, Dhamma is the manual to reshape this mind. And when it works, you will know. Sangha are practitioners. Again, this is not said by me. It's said by the Buddha that in the Dhammapada, there's an entire section on what makes a Sangha, a bhikkhu. Only the practitioners who practice to see to the end of the mind, realize Nibbana for themselves. They are the Sangha. Okay? Buddha say what? Keep saying this. Just to sum it up here, essentially, we have old habits put together, developed, cultivated for centuries. If we believe in the Buddha, you believe in past lives. Centuries. And because they are very old habits, it's very difficult to uproot your habits. You may see and understand. If you don't see and you don't understand, you will never change. When you have seen and understood the mind, then it is possible you may choose to tame your mind, choose to change the way you behave, choose to reform the character. Otherwise, you wouldn't. We are creatures of habits. So much so that have you seen little babies? They come in big. Into this world, they big. Red, big. They come in and they already got their own character, habits. Some are quiet, others are noisy. Some demands attention right now. Others are very patient. Seem to come in with a ready-made set of habits. And then the conditioning of this life will change some of the things and reinforce others. You know yourself. You know how much have changed and you know how much has not. Okay? But it takes a long time. And it will change only with understanding and insight. You don't see for yourself how the mind works, you are never going to change the way you behave. You're never going to see the reason to do differently. Okay? I want to stress this. Eightfold Path, 3 parts. The first one on Panya, understanding, seeing the mind as it is. Through that 3 characteristics, no certain transformation going on in your mind. Panya. Second, I must just... Okay. First, wisdom. This is for daily practice. Assuming that one great day you really saw for yourself anicca, dukkha, and then anatta later, never mind. But you saw anicca, dukkha good enough to start already. Assuming that one day you actually had the experience, and then you realize that the Buddha was right. Indeed, he was explaining the nature of the mind, and his method works. Okay? Assuming one day it happens for you. Then comes a long period of consolidation to change those old habits. And in terms of consolidation, these are the things that you have to do daily. Daily. You have to take every opportunity that you remember to reflect on the noble truths and on the 3 characteristics. You need to be mindful of the noble truths and the 3 characteristics. They are always there. You have to always go back and stare at arising and falling, arising and falling. If you go back to your breathing, if breathing is your object of meditation, go back to that breathing, observe the breathing, rising and falling. Change all the time. And see connecting parts, conditionality. When you see something, you see greed arises, contact, feeling, craving. You constantly bring your mind back to the Dhamma. If you are serious about the practice, bring the mind back to reflect on the Dhamma. If you don't do this daily, you can forget about consolidating what you have picked up in a retreat. You go for a retreat, you come out feeling like a new person, you walk on air. You're feeling so light and so happy. Because at the retreat, you were kusala. at the retreat, if you were akusala, the teacher will smack you, good. Nice. Let's learn to use these words properly. Smack you, nice. If you were at a retreat and you were akusala, let me explain. You go for a retreat, people serve you food, and you go, hurry up leh. Hello? Not very nice, are you? Huh? Okay, so you're very patient, and then people jump queue. It's okay, I'm at a retreat. Just jump, it's okay. Come, jump. It's okay. Then you go further back. It's okay, very nice, ma? Very good. No, that's what it is. Kusala. So you're feeling very noble, you're feeling very benevolent, you're feeling very generous. That is why your retreat works. So you sit and your mind goes quiet. So nice. Buddha say one, you're very kusala, you're very happy, the mind will go quiet. And then you come out and say, Allah, external world, outside world not retreat. That's why I am like that. Well, go back to retreat, I'm fine. No, you are not. You have a temporary you have a respite. You have a respite from your regular character. It's really that three parts. You have kusala, you have a quiet mind. Because your mind is so quiet, you're so happy, but you forgot to reflect on the Dhamma. You forgot to go back and look at the noble truths. You forgot to look at the conditions. You forgot to look at your rising and falling away. If you forgot to do all those things, that's it. You can have a very nice retreat with a very happy mind, and then you're out, and then you're back to life. No, retreat life has to be your regular life. Otherwise, we waste time. Don't come back. You're only happy once a year. Worse, your retreat is once in 5 years. You're only happy once in 5 years. Really happy. No, I mean it. If you can port over everything that you learn at the retreat because you have the correct understanding, that is your life. That is your life. It should not be before and after retreat. So, BRAR. Before retreat, after retreat. Not BCAD, okay? Okay? So the first thing, remember, when you're in your regular life, spare a moment for the Buddha Dhamma. I'm asking you, spare a moment for the Buddha Dhamma in your regular life. And all you need to do is just be mindful of the Four Noble Truths and the three characteristics. Cannot remember condition, never mind. Four Noble three characteristics can. Also good enough, okay? The second thing you must do is keep your mind space clean. For you, I use the word clean. Pure is ideal. Clean means no akusala, no evil, nasty, scold people thoughts, and patience, giving, what else? Metta. Just try metta. Okay? If you say, oh, metta very hard to come up, okay, never mind. Karuna. Okay? Karuna usually easier to come up. It's not enough to keep precepts. Equally important is to calm the craving and anger. Okay? Delusion is moha. The better you understand, the stronger you understand the Dhamma, the more insights that you gather about the Dhamma, the more diminished is moha. When I say hold the kusala line, the wholesome line, I do mean moment to moment. So imagine you sit at the bus. When you're driving, it's a bit harder, but even then you can practice patience and generosity. But if you're, say, in a bus, can you, when you're in a bus, in your mind, feel metta, friendliness? You say, nobody there. Friendliness need nobody there. You don't have to have a face before friendliness comes up. You can be friendly, period. I mean it. Don't wait until anger comes up, then metta. It's like, it's seriously, it's like you have no problem, you don't look for necessities. They got problem, they start looking for, you just looking for help. Yeah? Oh, did you see what I'm saying? Do you understand this part? In your regular life, learn to just be metta or compassion. You will see, for no reason, compassion comes out. Did you know the Buddha used the word Brahma Vihara? Have you heard of this phrase? Brahma Vihara. Do you know why he used the word Vihara? It's a way of living. It's a way of life. It is not only at retreat, Vihara. No, it's a daily way of life. It's daily life. So try and be that. I have a short recommendation. Minimally, be generous, be considerate, be patient. This is just, if you like, it's called the Practitioner Start Kit. Basic, sample. Try these, and then we'll see how it goes. Okay. Many of you assume that right here at Samadhi, I am recommending half an hour to an hour of meditation. No. I have very reasonable advice. Reasonable advice. You want to set aside a little time for your mind to rest. 10 minutes, better than no minute. Okay? A little bit of time. If you are sitting on a bus, watch the breathing. That's all. I'm not asking you to close your eyes. If you're scared people look at you, take your things, keep it open. That's fine. Just watch your breathing. Or, I give you another one. When you sit, where you sit, there are contact points. Your body leans against something, there are contact points. The mind, look at the contact point, be aware of the contact point, stay with those contact points for a while. This is the least you can do. This is the least. It's like saying, the doctor advises you to have half an hour of exercise 3 times a week. Well, okay, the least you can do is walk. You're not hitting the gym. I don't hit the gym, but if you don't hit the gym, minimally, just a bit of walking. And then someone will cleverly say, 10,000 steps, no need lah. 1,000 can. You got steps better than no steps. You have 10 minutes better than none. What is ideal? Ideal is to sit for half an hour to an hour every day. Ideal. Why? You only have 1 hour of detoxing your mind. Okay? And it's great. If the mind, now this is what will happen. If you have understanding and you are generally a nicer, kinder, calmer person, so you have understanding means you're wiser. And then you hold the kusala line means you're kinder, more patient, and generally a nicer person. You will be a more peaceful person, minimally. And you will be a happier person, minimally. Okay? You can do these things. Then you are actively in daily life living somewhat in the Dhamma. Somewhat. 1 toe in. Let's not exaggerate our efforts. 1 toe in. Then if you very energetically recall the Dhamma, go home, you read, then you remember, you reflect. Great! Now you are 1/2 in the Dhamma. Okay? Otherwise, you occasionally just recall 1 toe. Remember the toe or the half, which do you prefer? Half lah. Who asked for toe? When you go buy fish that time, did you just ask for tail? No, right? You want the whole fish or vegetable. Just give me the roots. You want the whole thing, right? So the same thing. This is actually, come to think of it, this is actually interesting, isn't it? When we buy things, we want the whole thing. When we do Dhamma, just a fraction would do. There's something really odd, right? The Dhamma is supposed to be the best. Buddha says, the highest gift is the gift of the Dhamma, right? It's the best. There's no taste that surpasses the Dhamma. The Dhamma is the ultimate of taste, the ultimate of truth, the ultimate of everything. I tell you what, just give me 10%. I can only deal with 10%. Something off, right? And someone is free. Free you don't want. Maybe we should charge. No? Free you don't want. Not good enough, not good enough. You want the branded Dhamma. Okay? Keep going. Otherwise, you will backslide. And for those of you who are already practitioner, let me share with you a beautiful advice by Ajahn Jayasaro. He said, when you stand still, Dhamma you have to keep practicing, keep going. It's like climbing a hill. If you climb a hill and you stop, you can slide. You will backslide. It's the same thing. In this Dhamma, you have to keep climbing, keep going. If you stop, your mind will revert to old behavior. And then, you see, if you're very happy with your life, you won't be here. The odds are there is something about your life that you are feeling not completely satisfied with. Is that fair? Because if you're perfectly satisfied, you will not be here. You will be doing whatever satisfying things you're doing. But the fact that you're here means you are saying to yourself there's something missing. And maybe Dhamma is where the answer is. That's why you're here. If you continue doing what you do, you will remain where you are, dissatisfied. If you are truly looking for the ticket out, you got to do something different. The Dhamma way. Okay? This one too cheap for you. We just skip. Oh, okay. Read. Just read. Oh, I tell you what, this one. The third point. You know how our mind talks a lot, right? The first 2 points are a bit cheap. So I just talk about the third point, which is more directly relevant. You know how our mind talks a lot? Yeah? Mine does. Not a lot these days, but it talks. I'm assuming yours does too. Yeah? Yes or not? Yes. Okay. So our mind talks a lot, and sometimes it talks wisely. But most times, it talks whatever it wants to talk, depending on what kind of a person you are. So if you are a cynical person, whatever it says will be something like this. No lah, sure not. I don't believe leh. I never believe people, no. If you are an easygoing person, your mind will talk like this. It's okay, really. It really doesn't matter, right? It's okay. Whatever. Yeah? And then if you are an angry person, you will say, what's there to be nice about? What's there to be happy about? Everything is also so awful, isn't it? Nah. How your mind talks, what it says, will reinforce what is there in your mind. See what I'm saying? So our character is the result of habits and assumptions and thoughts and conclusions and views. It's a very complex package deal, which I call neural pathways. There is an entire network, neurological network in there, which has been forged in as a result of all your assumptions and conclusions and beliefs and values and whatever you call it. It's the sum of your experience and your conclusions. They're all there. And from this great infrastructure spring the next experience, spring the next thoughts, spring the next words. So, if you're not a very happy person, one of the things you may want to do is to make use of this habit of talking, but change the content. Change what you say to yourself. And this is not new. People will say, oh, this is very new age psychology. No. This was what the Buddha taught his monks. The Buddha taught his monks to speak wisely to themselves. You see something as attractive, learn 32 parts. What do you think 32 parts are? Buddha incomplete anatomical answers, anatomical lessons. It's not. It's the Buddha telling his monks, you like form, you like it very much. Now look at the form in this way and see for yourself the attractiveness and the unattractiveness. He asks his monks and the lay people to reflect on mortality, on the milestones of life, because we know in ancient time, people were also burying their head in the sand, like we do, never change our habit. So now he tells us, look at mortality. I will die. The people I love will die. The people will fall sick, will grow old. So will I. You see what I'm saying? There are harsh lessons that we need to remind ourselves, words to remind ourselves. We do these so that the mind gets an incentive to practice. Otherwise, the mind happy enough, it will stop working hard. You see, imagine the situation. And this is real. You practice, you're diligent because you experience dukkha, and you believe that in the Dhamma is the answer for the cessation of dukkha. You believe that. So you work hard. He say hold the kusala line, you hold the line. He say you should learn to quieten down the mind, you learn to quiet down the mind. So you hold the line, you quieten the mind, you reflect on the Dhamma day in, day out, day in, day out. Then, oh, it's true. You feel so much better, for sure. You feel relief. I already told you, in what is impermanent, you see dukkha, but you also realize that whatever is painful will fade away. So you flip the answer, the teaching around, and you start to see all the beautiful side of the Dhamma. Then what happened? Suddenly life is very nice. You have all your meditation, so your mind is very quiet. You are very kusala, so you're always in the Brahma Vihara. And then you're always reflecting the Dhamma, nothing disturbs you, are very happy. You will cling on to becoming. You're still very happy with becoming because becoming is now very becoming. It's very nice. So he has to tell his monk, not finished yet. Continue the practice. That is why he keeps telling his monk, don't stop. Continue practicing. You see, the regular mind is in a lot of dukkha. And it's real. Buddha said, the moment you enter the stream, your experience of dukkha is like the amount of dirt under your fingernails, as opposed to the amount of dirt on the forest floor. That is how the worldling experience dukkha. But if you enter the stream and proceed on, the experience of dukkha is like, relative to the worldling, is like the amount of dirt under your nails. It's so minuscule compared to what's out there. So that's where they will become possibly a little bit more complacent. Nice word, complacent. So here is constantly reminding the mind, wisely. Speak wisely. Tell your mind, let's not be complacent about this. There is dukkha. You say things to teach your mind not to crave, not to cling. Okay? Again, you just read. I'll just move on. This was what the Buddha taught the monk to reflect on. Okay? I don't have to go into talking about this too. In daily life, you keep seeing rising and falling of mental phenomena, mental states, until you become immune to the Nibbana. Okay, never mind, move on. Why? It's not as if you... Look, I will sum up this like this. We are attached to delight. You have to learn to see delight as not delightful. If your practice is on track, one day it becomes obvious to you that delight is not delightful. Delight is painful. When it becomes obvious to you that delight is painful, you will feel some aversion. You shy away. It's disturbing. Not good. You don't swing from one side of the pendulum to the other. First, you are very attached to the delight. Then now you are so averse to the delight. It's not good. This swing is wrong. It should be in the middle. Rising, falling doesn't matter. There is no strong reaction. You are neutral. Then what comes, what goes. That's the nature of life, of thoughts. When you become neutral, this is when it is very easy not to hold. As long as you are delighting or you are averse, you are still holding. You're either holding to the delight or you're holding to fear of the delight. It's still a form of holding. Okay? And you don't hold on to delights, to the self, to the ego, to the views, to thinking, to creating. You don't hold to any of these activities. They happen depending on condition, but you don't hold on to them. Okay? Does that make sense? By and by, right conditions in place, when the mind turns away from all delights, it no longer craves and clings, the mind experiences vimutti. You see, craving, let me just explain this. Since I got about 5 minutes, we cling not just to external experiences. Back to my two world. We cling, we crave, and we cling not just to the physical world out there. We crave and we cling even more to the mental world, the inner world. You see what I'm saying? Do you cling to the char kway teow? No. You cling to your memory of the char kway teow. You see what I'm saying? If you every day eat a really badly char kway teow, you eat a really badly char one, then you realize that in Singapore no longer can you find a good char kway teow that matches your memory, your memory's kway teow. Then maybe you will let go. Maybe. It's memory that we cling on to, not the physical world per se. Of course we do cling on to the physical world. We want that sensation, but it must match the one you remember. Okay? And the only way the mind can be free is the mind realizes that it is always constructing and living in its construction. The day it realizes and it stops constructing, it is then that it is liberated. Then you say, oh, like that, very easy ma, stop thinking. You try. You try. Stop thinking, ask you to stop thinking for half an hour, just watch the breathing already. So jialat. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, you're right, very hard to stop thinking. The reason why we think is because craving is habit. We are still chasing delight. You will only stop thinking when there is no more desire for delight. If you don't desire delight, thoughts will stop. Thoughts will stop. It does not feed craving. The problem is craving and thoughts, they go together. They are, again, I didn't invent this. It is found in the sutta. Proliferation of thoughts, proliferation of craving. Craving will feed thoughts, thoughts will feed craving. You don't think about opening door. I'm just finding the most inane thing that we do a day. Every day we must open door. Nobody thinks about opening door unless the person I love is waiting behind the door. In which case, it's not the door I remember, it's the person. You see what I'm saying? We remember all the activities that make the deepest impression, and all the activities that make the deepest impressions are the ones that trigger pleasure or pain. Those are the only two. How many of you remember how many times you brush your teeth? I mean, how many times you do this? Unless you are OCD. Otherwise, you will not remember. In which case, it's very painful. I don't want to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think it's very painful. Okay, that's a different story. But if you are regular mind, an activity that is what in our terminology, not shook. If it's not shook, you don't remember. It's like this way in and that way out. So therefore, pleasure and pain, you remember? The activities associated with pleasure or pain, you remember? And therefore, you will recall them. You will think about them. And then when you think about them, they feed the craving and start again. And the craving starts and you say, I must go do this. Like that. Okay? You understand the Dhamma now? You understand the Dhamma now? Okay, 9:30. Do you all have a burning question? Must be burning question. We only have one question. Okay, for those of you who want to get a copy of my Between the Line book, if you don't have a copy, if you like a copy, you can come up to me here. Otherwise, good night.
Okay, just one announcement before we end.